afternoon, Franklin Township. This is PJ Parker from the Franklin Reporter and Advocate, and I'm here today standing on the outskirts of 78 acres of Snyders Farm on Middle Bush Road. Most of you are familiar with it because right now the Fall Festival is in full swing for the next couple of weekends, where you have brought your children on hay rides and pumpkin picking and berry picking and so much more. Today with me is Ray Snyder and his wife Melanie Snyder, and they're going to tell you a little bit about how this 21,000 square foot temple that is being proposed adjacent to their property has an impact on Snyders Farm and the community at large. Ray, give us some of your thoughts about what's going on here.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'd first like to just explain a little bit about the farm. About 10 years ago, my brother and I being a 30-year resident of Franklin Township, we purchased this farm, and we started to hold events such as blueberry picking, strawberry picking, all family events. We run movie nights, and then we run which we're in the midst of, the Fall Festival. It's going to be the last weekend. And the farm, this farm was actually established back in approximately the late 1600s, early 1700s. So that, to just give you a timeline, that's approximately 50 to 75 years before the signing of the Declaration of Independence. That's actually 50 to 75 years before the formal formation of our country. And through these events, although it's very difficult and to get together, what kind of makes it all worthwhile is so many times, I never expected it, that people in the community come up to me and they say, thank you so much for doing this. There's nothing like this in the town, and we appreciate it so much. And that's what really makes through the hardship of doing all this worth it. So now we're kind of faced with a little bit of a dilemma. A group of people have bought this property adjacent to the farm, and they're proposing to put a house of worship here. This property here is actually, it's a single family, zone for single family residence, and there's a house on the property. And we're situated inside of this is the scenic corridor here in the township. And within this scenic corridor, there's a lot of heritage. There's open farm fields, there's older houses and barns that have gone through the years back from anywhere from the Revolutionary to Civil War times. This is not per se a historical district. However, there is a couple of very old cemeteries along the way which house Civil War residents, so to say. As a matter of fact, there's one right across the street here. So, what the applicant now has proposed to do is to place a building here, and in effect, what's going to happen is they're going to wipe out about 80% of these trees which we're seeing here in the forest, and there's not going to be much left. And actually, what they're looking to do is violate. There's a 200-foot setback on their property, and they want to violate that by 75% and place the building. And if you can see these trees right here, the corner of the building right here in this group of trees is where the corner of that building will be. So while the kids are out here picking pumpkins, there's going to be a 35-foot building here if the township allows that. The thing that really is a couple things that really bother me. My brother and I, we purchased this farm, and we own the farm on paper, and it's a preserve farm, but we're not the actual owners of it. We're just the stewards of this farm, because after us, other people will come. We just hold on it, we maintain it, and it's for the people and the events that we have here, the families that come enjoy themselves. It's for them, not for us. I'm 60 years old. I'm in the last quarter of my life. If they put a building here, it's really not going to affect me a whole lot, but what's it going to do to the 5-year-olds and the 6-year-olds and the 10 years old and the families that come here? What are they going to feel about that? In addition to that, we have a numerous abundance of endangered bird species and species that are on the list of concern. What is it? Threatened concern, such as we have falcons, bald eagle. You know, I never saw a bald eagle until I was 52 years old, and I saw him on the fence over there. Blue heron, great blue heron, Vespa sparrow, a couple species of owls, and a multitude of different types of hawks. Not all around an endangered species, but you know, they fly from that area there, and they fly into these woods over here. This is part of their habitat. This whole area is part of their habitat. But so by wiping out these trees, and there's a lot of there's some 80 to 100 foot trees in here. Most of them are oaks, beech, dogwoods. It's going to reduce their habitat, and that concerns me, you know, because if we continue to keep wiping these things out and not providing the habitat for them, you know, there's not going to be much left. These kids, the young kids, and they grow up, they're not going to see that stuff. Another thing that's a problem with this here that I don't care too much for is the fact that they're going to be proposing to put a couple of parking lots inside this area, and all the stormwater is going to be going into a proposed retention basin down toward the field down there where that groundhog is, if you can see him. But it's more in the woods, and the stormwater is going to come downhill. Now that area there is uphill from my field. So all that water is going to flow down the hill and into my field over there. Right now we're into about the fourth meeting of the Board of Adjustments. The engineer has kind of proposed that there's some type of a stream that this water is going to flow into. But there is no stream there. It's just my empty field. There is a stream, however, that starts about a quarter of a mile downward. That's the closest stream around. So in effect what's going to happen is I'm going to lose use of this land here. And not only that, I'm going to have pollutants from the cars, oils, antifreeze, whatnot in there. So, you know, here's the whole thing. I'm not opposed to anybody's religion. My own religion teaches me not to be. My belief is that if more people spent time in houses of worship, we'd probably have a lot more peaceful world. But if my own religion came to me and said that they wanted to put a house of worship here, I would advise them that this is completely inappropriate spot. And among other things, mainly because of the environmental effects, the ecological effects, and what you're taking away from the people around you. You know, I'm not against construction, and I believe we all have freedom and liberty in this country, but we can't do things that violate other people's liberties. Well, you can't just do whatever we want. We have to respect one another. And that's about it, you know.
Well, you are a working farm. I mean, these cornfields are not for decoration. Someone benefits from you having this acre plus of cornfields, and the pumpkins, and the berries, and the farm stand. I mean, this is a source of food for people as well.
Yeah, we run full time. Well, whatever months out of the year we can. Most of the year, every kind of staple. You know, everything from tomatoes to corn, and peppers, okra,
onions, zucchini, squash.
Yeah, and we do. We donate whatever we can. As a matter of fact, we just donated a bunch of food to South Brownbrook school system. You know, in the midst of COVID, they claim they can't get enough food, so we just sent a bunch of stuff down there. So yeah, it's a working farm. And it's also an ag tourist farm, you know.
What is that?
Well, it's to get the awareness that, you know, I think a lot of kids think that the food that they get comes from the back room and Stop and Shop or something like that, you know. And it raises the awareness of the importance of where the food comes from and how, you know, how important it is to, you know, to be stewards of the earth, you know.
Exactly, because that's where it's coming from.
You know, and you know, and although technology has increased the amount of productivity out of acres as opposed to say 200 years ago, and machinery and whatnot, and a lot of land has been, you know, houses have been planted on them. We still need to protect and provide for ourselves and the world through what we need to respect. And that's where it comes from. So, but ag tourism in these events,
The agricultural
opens up-
tourism, is that what that is? Mhm.
yeah, opens up the eyes to people to see just exactly how they get the products they have, and we try the best not to use any type of pesticide. We practice PMI, pest management, integrated pest management practices, and we have a ton of bees on. There must be about 50 beehives here on the property, and which is another thing, how important bees are so important.
Mm-hmm.
And if we lose our bee populations, we're in big trouble, because we need those bees to pollinate the plants, and that gives them an awareness. A lot of people just think, kill the bees, but do certain pesticides, that kills it. But when you do the ag tourism, we try to enlighten them to the fact that your food doesn't come from this back room and stop and shop.
And here you have an example of what a working farm is, Franklin. What is the progress of this project that you know so far?
Yeah, well, so far that we're going to be coming up on the 4th virtual meeting. I guess it's November 4th or 5th, I think it is. November 5th, yeah. And
Is the public permitted to comment at these meetings?
yeah, well, they have to log on to this, onto the township website, I guess, and it'll instruct them how to get onto the meetings. But
And can you post that when it's getting near to that? That people can be aware that yes, they can voice their opinions, whatever their opinions are, at these meetings in a live format, even though it is, of course, right now virtual.
yeah, sure. I think it would,
Okay.
like I said, I think that my feeling is that the residents should be concerned about this, because it's going to affect them. But I would encourage them to, if this is what they feel, that they should go on that meeting and voice their opinion about it. Yeah.
So the next meeting, we think it's either November 4th or
No, it's
November
the
5th,
5th,
and
yeah.
is this in front of the Board of Adjustment or the Planning Board, Zoning Board, which body?
It's before the Board of Adjustment.
Okay. So that information then, you will post that information. It'll be on Facebook, on your website,
Yeah.
and what is that website?
Snyders Farm.
Snyders Farm, www.snydersfarm.com.
Is it Snyders
It's also on
Dash
Facebook
Farm?
and on
I think
Instagram.
it is there.
Dash Farm?
I don't go
think-
on it, so I don't know.
Okay, all right. But the Facebook community and the internet community will want to know
Yes.
exactly. But if you don't find it the first time, you'll eventually turn up Snyders Farm. But I think it is Snyders-Farm.com. So please, Franklin, if you have an opinion as to what this is all about, and the application is for a house of worship, 21,000 plus square feet, that is encroaching, wrong word, going to be on the same land space as Snyders Farm, which is one of the largest working farms that we have here in Franklin, and for all of the above reasons that Ray articulated, why preserving this environmental gem is something that you may also want to be interested in supporting. If you don't, your opinion is also welcome in the same forum, but I think it's important for us to express our opinions in either direction, however we are swayed. Melanie, did you want to contribute something?
The only thing I would really say is I would just encourage the public to look at an aerial shot of this area. Once you go above it, you get a really great perspective of the area. You can see how we have the farm here. It's an agricultural zone. Then you have the canal, which is also like a watershed that's protected. There's a historic farm that's preserved down the road. Once you get out of the area, it becomes, houses and highways and, more congested. I can say just from working here and being here that we love, serving the community. We love serving the people. I talk with moms all the time. They come and they say thank you for being here. And we just love that we have such a nice space for families to come to. Traditions are born. Before I met Ray, pumpkin picking was my favorite tradition, but now I have blueberry picking, I have strawberry picking, and then we have the Fall Fest, which is just wonderful. And people are always looking to do stuff outside, so it's
Especially now.
yes, especially with the COVID, yes.
Exactly. so that we have an opportunity to be outside.
Yes.
That's a good thing.
What do you use that field for?
Actually, that's
Earmarked.
slated to have. We're going to be planting raspberries and blackberries and a couple
Another-
different kinds of.
Pick your own.
Yeah, that's going to be a pick your own berry plant for the summertime.
All right.
So that's what this field was slated for.
And how big is it?
This field right here, I guess that's about 6 acres. Yeah.
Well, if we could pan the rest of it, you could
Right.
get an expanse of the pumpkins as well as soon as you're finished.
And if the water from the temple
Well,
permeates,
that's not going to help it. I could tell you that much.
well, will you be able to plant? Will you be able to use
Probably not. Not down there for sure. You know, I don't know how far and how much water is going to come out. So, you know, but it will come. So it's definitely going to limit me. We had planned on doing it earlier this year. However, due to the COVID situation, it was kind of put on hold. It'll be going on this spring.
All right. Well, there are a lot of big plans and a lot of hurdles to go through. But I think Franklin has seen your heart in this matter, and it will move forth one way or another. If you are in alignment with preservation or environmental concerns, the place to voice those concerns would be at this next meeting. And again,
You can go to Franklin Township website, and it's right on there. You just click the link. You can do it virtual, or you can call in. So, and then the public is always asked at the end of the meeting to voice their opinions. So, anyone that is in support of us, that would be, really great.
okay. Well, we certainly appreciate your time,
Thanks for coming out.
and thank you for just
Thank you.
housing this beautiful space. I wish you lots of luck.
Thank you.
Okay. I almost hate to leave. It's just so lovely. Okay. Well,
Look
Here
at the
we are.
groundhog. He's coming right up here, bud.
a little woodchuck. Oh, he feels safe. Isn't that lovely? Oh, come on, buddy. Come on, say hello. Oh, they're so sweet. Well, anyway, this is a pleasure. Thank you so much
Thank you. Thanks for coming
being
out.
custodians of this space.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Our pleasure. This is PJ Parker from the Franklin Reporter and Advocate. Just enjoying this scenery. Contribute your thoughts, as Melanie suggested, right at the Franklin Township website. And that will be the 4th or the 5th, but it'll be listed on the Franklin board. I'll be all right. The Franklin Township website. Again, PJ Parker, Franklin Reporter and Advocate, always playing with the mask, and thank you for wearing them. And we'll be back.